If you're watching this on Legacy of Survival, make sure you're subscribed, because what you're about to hear is the kind of history that rarely makes it into documentaries or prepper videos. For the next few minutes, I want to take you back into the grit of wartime survival. Not the dramatized, polished version, but the real methods people relied on when their world was stretched to its limits. These were techniques born from scarcity, discipline, and a level of resourcefulness that puts a lot of today's modern gear to shame. And if you're serious about understanding the roots of practical preparedness, the kind built by everyday families and soldiers who didn't have the luxury of replacements or upgrades, then stay with me. The goal here isn't nostalgia. It's learning from people who survived conditions tougher than anything most of us will ever face, and applying their lessons to our own everyday resilience. The first trick is the way WWII families learned to preserve food without relying on powered equipment. Across Europe and Asia, families couldn't depend on electricity that often flickered out or disappeared entirely. So they leaned on salt curing, dry storing, and cold cellaring techniques that still outperform many modern gadgets when the grid goes silent. Salt curing wasn't just a method for meat. It was used for root vegetables, fish, and even certain grains. If you want a modern application, take a 5-kilogram batch of fresh fish, coat it heavily in coarse salt, let it draw out the moisture for a day, then hang-dry it in moving air. You'll have protein that can last months without a freezer. Families didn't use dehydrators. They mastered airflow, shade, and time. Anyone storing food today should experiment with a single batch using nothing but salt and a cool, shaded location to understand how reliable this method really is. Another overlooked skill is how soldiers crafted reusable field water filters from materials they carried. Yes, we've got straw filters, squeeze filters, pump filters, ceramic filters, but none of it beats the independence of being able to build a dependable purifier from scratch. In WWII, troops layered charcoal from burned firewood between tightly packed cloth or canvas, then funneled water through slowly. The key wasn't speed, it was patience. You see, slow filtration actually pushes more contaminants into the carbon. You can recreate this today using a metal can, some charcoal crushed into fine pieces, a layer of sand, and then tightly packed cloth at the base to stop sediment. Pour water through 3 to 5 times before boiling it. A third forgotten technique is the way resistance groups created hidden storage that blended into daily life. Not dramatic tunnels or floorboards, just simple, clever concealment that used ordinary objects. Many households hollowed out the underside of wooden stools or the inside of old water jugs. The genius wasn't the hiding spot. It was choosing places so mundane that they became invisible. Applying this today doesn't require woodworking skills. Just pick an object in your home that never attracts attention. A worn toolbox, the underside of a drawer, an outdated thermos, and build a small compartment for documents or items you want protected from theft or disaster. Minimal, ordinary, effective. Modern outdoor clothing is excellent, but, well, also fragile. In wartime, uniforms needed to last months or even longer. Troops wore thin base layers made from whatever was available, cotton, linen, even repurposed flour sacks, to absorb sweat and friction instead of destroying their outer garments. A practical takeaway is to designate a set of cheap, washable inner layers to protect your expensive gear. If you take a fleece or soft shell into the field today without a sacrificial layer underneath, you're wearing it out 10 times faster than someone who follows World War II principles. Rationing wasn't just about reducing intake. It was about planned consumption cycles that matched spoilage rates. Households kept tight rotations, fresh foods first, preserved foods second, and emergency reserve items sealed until absolutely necessary. To apply this today, well, organize your pantry into 3 zones: consume soon, mid-term storage, and long-term reserve, and rehearse using them in order. You learn quickly where your gaps are, and you reduce waste dramatically. Hand signals, simple coded knocks, and time-based messaging were common across resistance groups and rural villages. No encryption devices, no batteries, just patterns everybody understood. For a modern version, create simple pre-arranged signals with your family or group. 2 knocks for safe, 1 long knock for wait, or a particular object placed in a certain spot to signal a message. Primitive? Yes. Reliable in an outage? Absolutely. A single steel pot served as a cooking vessel, a water purifier, a digging tool, a food storage container, and sometimes even a defensive item. The takeaway for preppers is straightforward. Choose gear that can do 3 jobs instead of 1. If you can dig with it, cook with it, and store with it, it's worth keeping. People didn't wait to feel ready. They had schedules: firewood at dawn, food prep after breakfast, mending after lunch, and security tasks at dusk. Routine builds resilience more effectively than adrenaline. If you want to apply this today, choose 1 skill: fire starting, knife sharpening, map reading, and practice it for 10 minutes a day for a month. That habit does more for survival readiness than new equipment ever will. If you found value in this guide and want more deep-dive history blended with real-world resilience, make sure to subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone who respects the roots of true survival.